we talked yesterday about the whole hullabaloo with Tenet Media, with Russia Today, with all the conservative influencers, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Lauren Southern.
Rubio is not.
Yeah.
No, did I say
Rubin.
Rubio? I said Rubio. Ruben. Sorry.
Dave
Not Rubio.
Rubin, couple others. They were sort of mentioned or tied. They were entangled with this whole thing because they were unwitting participants in receiving money from Russia, even though they didn't know that it was from Russia. And so there's been a lot of fallout. Obviously, you might expect that, but there's people that are like, if you watch Joe Scarborough, for example, or if you watch Joy Reid, they are acting as though Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, and the others are personally responsible for accepting Russian bribes and Russian money to do specific things when that didn't happen. And they are completely misreporting the story. And there's no consequence for their misinformation, right? They just get to say it, and that's just that. They just get to report it that way.
Why not though? They're gonna, I mean, I would hope those people have some sort of, they can sue, or, I mean, because
I would love for that to happen.
That's defamation. You don't get to do that. You don't get to say that if it's not true. Yeah. I feel like if we're flipped and they were saying that about Democrats, that that would be deemed misinformation, because it is in fact misinformation. It's just not freaking true. It's not.
I know. And the way that they're spinning it is just so egregious. Yeah. And Matt Taibbi was on with Martha McCallum to talk about this whole news story and whether or not it's really a big deal.
One more question here. I don't think anybody is surprised, I guess, is what is the point that I'm making, that Russia tries to influence people's thinking around the world. So does China, so does Iran, and they're big players in this. But when it came to Iran, they did not say that Iran appears to be supporting the Harris campaign in similar efforts on social media. Why do you think that was, Matt?
Because the utility of this story, as a propaganda vehicle, is entirely designed. It's aimed at Donald Trump squarely. This story would not be in the news. You wouldn't have every network covering it. You wouldn't have Joe Scarborough doing rants about it if it didn't have a Donald Trump angle to it. And this has been true since the very first time they unveiled this story way back in 2016. We've seen so many iterations of this same theme, and every time it turns out to be less than meets the eye, or a hoax like I discovered with the Hamilton 68 site in the Twitter files, or the Steele dossier. So, we'll find out. But this idea that there's this ongoing, relentless, massive organized campaign by Russia to get Donald Trump elected is just a phony story. This might be a real story, but it's not a big story.
Right. It's like, at this point, it's a John Grisham novel to me. I'm bored with it. It's like the same freaking theme over and over and over again. He's absolutely right about that. I'm done. Like, I can't even tune into this stuff, because I think they believe that the populace is so dumb that they're going to continue to buy the Russia thing. I mean, it's the same crap from 2016, 2020. Are you guys buying this bullshit? I mean, it's like Russia again. We're doing this again.
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't. Like, I'm not that dumb.
We introduced a new sponsor, Life 360, which I'm super stoked about because I've been using it for years and years and years.
We love it.
Oh my God, it's so great. It's so great. And
the only thing that I'm not super happy about is that my husband knows how fast I'm going in the car.
Well, that's true. It's true. You can track the speed and the driving history of all of your people in your circle.
Totally.
We got a testimonial from Martha Sheriff, who wrote, "I am so glad Life 360 has joined in on the fun. I love this app.
We do
Several
too.
years ago, during spring break, my son and his family went skiing while I stayed home and took care of the dogs. One day, I looked at Life 360 and wondered what all of these short trips the kids were taking. We figured out it was their ski runs, which had the length and the miles per hour.
Love it.
And so all of a sudden, the kids were having contests for the fastest and longest runs for the day.
Oh my God.
As well as being useful, it can be really fun too. Love you girls. You're the greatest, from a loving Grammy."
That is so cute. I love
right?
that. Yeah.
Isn't that the greatest?
That is really cool. Yeah, we love it. I mean, I love it. Listen, our daughter's not driving yet. it's going to come in handy when she's driving. But I do like knowing like she has to go to a different school at the end of the day to go to swim. You know, she does like swim practice every single day after school. I like knowing that she's going from one place to the other and it says Gwen is at swim now, you know, from her high school. And I'm like, okay, I feel it gives me a sense of security. I'm like, okay, she's safe and she's in the place she's supposed to be in. And then when she's driving, I'll feel the same way. And I'll be able to say, why are you going so fast? Kind of like
we do it to Jackson all the time.
Right. Like my husband says to me right now. So it'll trickle down. It's great, you guys. Yeah.
It really is. And I know a lot of people, the last time we talked about it, a lot of people were like, that's so stalky.
Oh my
and,
God.
Invasion of privacy. No one is forcing you to do this. The people that are in your circle willingly want to be there with you. So
our family, we all stalk each other and we do it happily. We all stalk each other and it's fantastic. We love it. Absolutely love it.
It's just so handy, especially if you have a lot of kids and you're trying to figure out who's got to go where and when somebody taking it's just so handy for so many reasons that we've listed, but also because they do the tiles too, where it's kind of like an air tag, but it's their version and they're super, super handy. When you go to life360.com or you just download the app Life360 today and use code CHICKS, you will get a month of the gold package for free, plus 15% off of all tiles. So check it out, life360.com, or just download the app. It is awesome. When they have like the Morning Joes and Joy Reids of the world talking breathlessly about this as if it's some gigantic proof of, you know, Trump being involved with Russia, which makes no sense. They don't even have enough self-awareness to recognize that they're the ones that are engaged in the propaganda.
Right.
They're the puppets for Russia, essentially.
They are absolutely.
And they just don't get it. And it's amazing.
Right. It's
amazing. Now, that said, Dan Bongino put out a pretty stern warning to conservatives like us, for example, that you better know who you're talking to if you are a person of influence out there and you're making deals and you're trying to get paid for whatever. Be careful, because this is a thing that might be happening.
But I'd be remiss as a former federal agent to not warn people that given these accusations, are other people, I'm not accusing anyone specifically, I want to be clear, are people working with the feds right now to try to ensnare other conservative influencers into this alleged operation? I'm just going to say this. Be very careful who you're emailing and be very careful who you're talking to, and be very careful that you're not talking to someone working with the feds on the other end of the line.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing that everybody ghosts us and we've never been offered $10 million. Guess that's a good thing, right? So I mean, good.
Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, the whole gang, they were making $400,000 a month, you guys.
Holy crap. Yeah, I can assure you, we're okay, you guys. We're not in bed with Russia.
No, if that's what they're paying, we're definitely no.
Yeah.
But we did joke with our Radio America team. We were like, can you confirm that you guys are not Russians?
You're not Russians? That you're not Russian? Yeah.
But I mean, dang, you have to, I mean, I don't know, maybe when you get to be that level of a Tim Pool or a Benny Johnson, when you get to be that rich and that important in your sphere,
you don't read contracts, you don't read
or
things?
Maybe you just don't, maybe you're like, this is a standard contract, because again, they didn't know who the investor was. They were given a story about that. But maybe they get to a point where they're so rich and so famous that they just expect that $400,000 a month is completely legitimate, even though they're not required to do anything for it except have their content in a certain place on the internet. Can you imagine?
No, I can't imagine any of this. I can't imagine, like you said, be careful who you're talking to. We're like, we're Romy and Michelle of the conservative world. People don't write.
Totally.
I mean, we're those girls. So I don't think we're ever going to even ever experience that. And I'm okay with that. Cause I like where we are. 400.
I don't even know how to imagine.
I can't even imagine. Okay.